What's up guys, today we are going to be looking at the best teams, the best fixture runs you need to be targeting on your wildcard game week 12. Also, if you just want to, use a free transfer, that also works too. Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get right into it. Straight away, we are going to be looking at the first team now, guys. We're not doing this in any specific order. We're just doing the best four, okay? First up, we've got Arsenal. Now, the next 6 Arsenal games here, as you can see, there's a few greys and a few greens, but, it extends further than this. They don't have a red fixture for at least 9 game weeks. They've got a pretty solid medium to long-term fixture run. And, I expect them to win a lot of these games with a few of their players coming back from injury. They could be looking to, reignite their title charge. I think they're going to be winning a lot of these games with a few clean sheets here and there. It's a team you want to get attackers and defenders from. Now, the top 3 players from this team, I'll quickly briefly go through. The first one is obviously Bukayo Saka. That's if he is back fit. He is fixture proof, as we know. He scores in the easy games and he scores in the hard games. He's also just a very reliable option. The only problem is he's a 10 mil player who I would never really consider using as my captain, which kind of, if you have a 10 mil player, you want him to be a captaincy option now and then. That's his only downfall. Number 2 is a slightly cheaper alternative. We've got Kai Havertz, who is he's okay this season. He's not as good as he was last season in FPL terms, and his recent form isn't good. But then again, Arsenal have only scored 3 goals in the last 4 games, so how can his recent form be any good? You know what I'm saying? I think he's gonna get the points soon enough. He is a player who's going to be massively in the points when Arsenal start putting away more goals, especially now Odegaard is back as well. And the third best asset you can get from Arsenal, I'd say it's either Raya or Gabriel. Basically, just an Arsenal defender. You can either go with Raya, who is the cheapest way to the Arsenal defence, or you can bring in Gabriel and bring in another keeper who you think can keep up with Raya for the same price. Either way, I'd still recommend an Arsenal defender as a pretty solid option. Although with Saka and Havertz, I wouldn't double up on the Arsenal attack. I'd just pick either one or the other. Going without Saka is a bit risky, but it's nowhere near a bad idea. Guys, next up, we are going to be looking at Chelsea. Now, guys, Chelsea's next 6 games, as you can see here, they're pretty solid. I mean, there's a couple tough ones, but nothing too bad. There's some easy games here that their attackers and defenders will both be taken advantage of. But guys, why I like the Chelsea fixture run so much is not because of these next 6 games. It's the next 6 after these 6, which is it's like a cheat code basically, guys. This long-term fixture run for Chelsea is insane. I'm going to pull up the next 6 now. They've got another 5 greens in a row, followed by Man City away, which is obviously when you'd be looking to sell your Chelsea players, because you can imagine their fixtures get very tough after these next 11, which are insanely good. Definitely the best fixture run across the next 10 or 11 games. This sort of fixture run makes, a Chelsea double up very valid, almost essential. I mean, you don't have to do it, but it's a very good idea. And a Chelsea triple up, also very, very tempting. I mean, this will lead us into our top 3 now. But the number 1, we're obviously looking at Cole Palmer because Cole Palmer is Cole Palmer, no brainer there. Number 2, I would say, is once again a defender. Doesn't matter which one, okay? I think the best 2 options to access the Chelsea defence is either the goalkeeper in Sanchez, who has, if you're looking at save potential and clean sheet potential, probably the best goalkeeper in the game. I think he's top 3 for saves last time I checked. If not, he's definitely top 5. And obviously, you're looking at a team which is competing for top 4 football. They're going to be keeping clean sheets along the way. I also like Colwill as a 4.5 million defender who has played every full 90 this season, making him a 4.5 million defender from a solid defence who's reliable for minutes. I mean, it's a very easy choice to make if you want to be rotating your 4.5 million defenders. He's definitely one you get in. And number 3 is Nicholas Jackson. He's very consistent this season, way better than he was last season, getting the expected goals, and he's actually putting them away. The only drawback is there's a lot of good forward options to choose from, Like I've said, Havertz already, but you could also be looking at Isak and Cunha, Welbeck, João Pedro, and then also Jackson. So I wouldn't, be eager to get Jackson in, but he's definitely a good option. Like I said about the triple up earlier, Jackson, Palmer and Sanchez or Colwill is an insanely valid triple up, which would be a really good idea. Next up is Wolves. Now guys, short term, Wolves have the best fixture run in the game, with only 1 grey fixture being the next one, and then 5 greens following it. It's also a really important 6 games for them because right now they are kind of deep in the relegation zone, and they're going to want to use this fixture run to climb themselves out of it to safety and get out of this relegation zone. So I do think they're going to be coming out with a few wins, which means a few goals and maybe also a few clean sheets. So which assets are the best to get from Wolves? Guys, obviously Cunha is the best asset to get from Wolves. Potential for goals, potential for assists, and obviously insanely reliable for minutes. Clearly their best attacker. And then obviously at number 2, we've got Ryan Aït-Nouri, who in the first 11 games of this Premier League season has 5 goal involvements. Just be warned, he has 5 goal involvements from 1.92 expected goal involvements. So he is still going to get some goal involvements, you know, that's still pretty high, but not as much as he has been getting. He's been overperforming it quite a bit. And third place is yet again another forward, guys. It's going to be Strand Larsen. Now, I personally wouldn't recommend going for Strand Larsen if you can afford Cunha. I think the only people who would be going for Strand Larsen are people going with Haaland in their teams. Otherwise, you can probably afford Cunha, who is better. And when you're picking these Wolves players, guys, I wouldn't invest too much in them. Only 2 players at most. Mainly because I think there's only really 2 good assets from their team. But also, they only have 6 good games. And out of those 6 good games, 2 of them are home games and 4 of them are away games. So it's not the most promising in the world if they don't play too well away from home. But like I said, a lot of these games are easy either way, so I do expect them to play well. Another reason I wouldn't get more than 2 Wolves players is because, like I said, it's quite short term. After these 6 games, you're going to have to sell at least one of them, maybe both. Now guys, looking at the final team here, we have Brighton, who don't have a single red fixture in the next 7. In fact, they've only got 2 greys and 5 greens. Brighton are one of the best teams in the league this season. But something you'll see about their attack is they don't usually score more than 2 goals. So while their attacking output is solid and, you know, it gets them results, you never expect massive high scoring games from them or massive double-digit hauls from their players. But then again, you can't really expect that from them because they cost like 6 million at most. No one is more expensive than 6 million from Brighton. So for how much they cost, they are very good value. And there's a few of them I would recommend you get, taking advantage of all these green fixtures. Now, number 1 and 2 from Brighton is going to be tied. It's going to be Welbeck and João Pedro. Now, Welbeck is definitely the more reliable option. He's been taking all of Brighton's expected goals since game week 1. Even when João Pedro was playing, you know, Welbeck was still getting the expected goals. And he's also very reliable for minutes, you know he's going to be starting. Then, on the other hand, you've got João Pedro, who's got penalties, has potential for goals and assists. Not to mention, he has just got an 11-pointer in the space of like 10 minutes as a substitute in his first game back. So clearly, he's going to be on some good form. Now, while I do tie these guys for the number 1 spot, I personally, if I was doing it, I would spend a bit extra going for Danny Welbeck just because of how reliable he is as an FPL asset. He is very good this season. I know, you know, you think of Welbeck and you think of like a bit of a washed up Premier League player who's just all right these days. And you might be right, but what you can't disagree with is the fact he is really good for Brighton this season. He's getting the expected goals and he's putting them away. It's that simple. Looking at the data, Welbeck is the better option. And finally, I'd recommend going for a Brighton defender. Just going for Veltman is like the safe option here. 4.5 million, reliable minutes, and he's got the highest assist potential for any Brighton defender. It's not a lot of assist potential. None of them really do have a lot, but Veltman is, you know, the best option to go for from Brighton. Even though they only have 3 clean sheets so far in 11 games, looking at their last 11 games, you wouldn't really expect more than 3 clean sheets anyway, so don't be doubting their defence too much, even if it doesn't look that good right now. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, you are greatly appreciated, and yeah, I will see you all in the next video.